Hi, I'm going to be answering some questions that were put forth to me by a fellow YouTuber, David. Hi David. I'm going to try to answer some of these questions, and I hope it is useful for you and maybe for somebody else too. David mentions a lot of problems that I find are common in MS. And he uses the word bizarre, which is a word that I use all the time as well for everything actually. But I use it for MS, bizarre symptoms, because so many times it is just bizarre, these symptoms. So one of them is foot numbness and pain. Foot numbness for me, absolutely. That was one of my first signs with MS, was numbness in my toes. At times I have this feeling like I have rocks underneath my toes, and sadly, still to this day, and it's been 6 years, I kind of wiggle my toes to see if there is indeed a rock in my shoe. It's this very strange feeling, but it is part of the foot and toe numbness, and yes, I do get that. Pain. Yes, I do get pain in my feet, and it's usually from spasms. I do get spasms where my foot kind of does this kind of thing, where all the toes spread out and it just goes berserk. And that is very, very painful. I also get a pain that comes underneath my feet and usually will shoot up the back of my legs. It's enjoyable, isn't it? Vision. And he says, my vision in one eye just gets kind of off. It's slightly glazed over or something, blurry on and off. And it can last for a couple of hours. Definitely. And I find that, well, if I'm in a relapse, some relapses have been optic neuritis or have been double vision. But I have also just had flare-ups where that happens, where my eyesight is blurry. My right eye goes blurry pretty much every day. And usually it's when I heat up. So if, for example, I'm exercising, my body temperature starts to heat up a little bit, the eyesight will go slightly off, and then it will come back, and as soon as I cool down. He also talks about cognitive issues, and he says in many ways it is the worst for him, as it can be for many people. Everyone writes it off as anxiety. I think a lot of people who are getting diagnosed with MS hear that, it's stress or it's anxiety. I totally know what you're talking about there. He says, I mentioned in one of my videos that in Paris I felt like my head was filled with champagne bubbles. And yes, I do still get that feeling. He says that I always have had a terrible short-term memory, but lately I forget things almost as soon as they're said. And that can be part of MS as well. Memory, you can't think of words. That happens to me a lot, where I just can't get the words out. And unfortunately, sometimes it will happen where I'm conducting a meeting. I could be at work and, I've got 15 people looking at me and I can't think of the word. And I just say, what's that word? You know the word. And then if they can't think of the word, then I blame them. You know the word. And then finally, they come up with it and I say, oh, of course, yes. Why did it take you so long? Just blame other people. But yeah, that is definitely something that can be part of MS. And I just want to say, if you're watching this video and you are not diagnosed with MS, some of these things can be other things as well. And that is why sometimes it is hard to diagnose MS. But all these things can be indeed part of MS. Vertigo. Yes, I do get dizzy, especially when when I'm heated up. And I find that I get vertigo in the tube station. which is a reason why I don't walk near the edge of the platform, actually, because my concern is that I might fall over. Yeah, I definitely do get vertigo. Sorry, my neighbors are so noisy today. I don't know what they're up to, but it's children and adults. You probably hear them. Coordination. Yeah, coordination is off. Again, I do wear high heels, as I've said in many videos, and I wear quite high ones. And yes, sometimes I do kind of, you know, flop about in them. It's especially when I need to turn corners. So indoors for me many times is worse than being outdoors. I could be, you know, walking through my living room and there's a sofa over there, you know, there's a space to get through. I'll crash into things. You know, I always have bruises on my legs and my arms, and I think, where did I get it? It's been the story of my life since having MS, and it is from crashing into walls and chairs and tables, which is why I call myself Awkward Bitch. Fatigue is the last one that David mentions, and I think fatigue can be one of the worst symptoms of MS, because unless you've had it, people cannot understand the kind of tiredness that you feel. It's not laziness, it's not that you don't want to get up, it's not that you are being dramatic, it is that you have slept, but you still feel like you have not slept in days and days, and you feel like such shit and cannot stop feeling like shit. I'm sorry, that's the only way I can describe it. It is really debilitating, and I think it's something that actually stops people with MS from doing a lot of things, and one of them is working. But there are ways to compensate for fatigue, and there are drugs as well that you can take, but it's one of what I think can be the worst symptoms of MS. David asks at the end, any advice, even if it is to tell me I sound schizophrenic, not like someone with MS. No, you don't sound schizophrenic at all. I'm really trying to get answers, finally. I can't bear not knowing anymore. And actually that last sentence, I think, rings true for a lot of us, because if you're not diagnosed yet, you just want to know. And when I was diagnosed, in the few minutes before, when the doctor said, you know, he took out this paper and said, has anyone rang you yet? And I just thought, just tell me, just say it, just say it, just say I have MS. Just say it, because I know that's what you're going to say. So just say it, because if you don't say that, it's going to be something worse. So, you know, it's that feeling of just wanting to know. I hope this is helpful again, and if anyone has any other questions that you would like me to do a video on, or any other subjects, then please email me on YouTube and let me know. And I look forward to speaking to more of you, and thank you very much for watching.